Welcome back, fellow jazz bums. We have a big announcement. We want to let everybody know that we're still alive and we're still here, even though we haven't put out a video in a couple of weeks. We've all been really busy with the holidays. So with this, we're going to do a new video on the recently released 2023 Blue Note Classic Series. They released 16 titles, and we're going to go through them, talk about which ones we're interested in, some of the details around those. Before we jump into it, remember to like and subscribe. Leave some comments about the titles that you're excited about and what you think about this list. And with that, we're going to jump into it. So, Chris, I'll kick it over to you to start.
Yeah, so let's start by just looking at the release list here. So, as they've been doing for a while, they're releasing, records that kind of match genre or whatever you want to call it, right? So let's kind of go through that first. The first set is the 70s. So you got a couple of records from the 70s. That makes sense. And we've got hard bop, post-bop, hidden gems. The hidden gems is actually my favorite a lot of the times.
Oh, yeah.
They're just good, right?
Yep.
Bebop, the rebirth. So this is going to be more modern stuff. These are both digital, by the way. The Robert Glasper Mad Lib from the 2000s. We got soul jazz, and finally the Avant-garde, which may be the records I'm most excited for, probably. So yeah, so it's pretty interesting categories, right? What do y'all think?
Yeah.
Yeah. I really dig it, Chris. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I like how they do that. Joe Harley's trying to do that too. A lot of the times you'll notice that with the tone poets, like Grant Green and Kenny Burrell.
I think they came along twice, right? Grant Green, Kenny Burrell. No, I think it's a really smart way to make it clear. They have like an idea for each two releases, so they make sense together. They go along really well.
Yeah.
And they're kind of complementary in a sense. So I think in that sense, Blue Note's doing a great job in curating this, bringing us the classics again. I'm not even getting to what a classic is or not. They're showing us. And I think also, Chris, one thing I was just thinking, the tone poles have a flexibility to go to like War Pacific and United Artists or whatever. Here they don't. They have to stick with Blue Note. So that kind of forces them to go deep and look at everything they have, which I think is really cool. I mean, some records...
That's super interesting. I hadn't even thought about that, but they haven't done anything but Blue Notes, right?
Yeah, no, they have to. They have to stick to Blue Note.
Yeah, I think how they break this out, I feel like they've done these categories before in the past. So like 2022, they had a 70s. They've had hidden gems.
Yep.
So I think it's a fun way for them to dive into the catalog and figure out what they want to present. There's always disappointments. Like, I feel like when I'm kind of searching for older records, I honestly stopped looking for Blue Notes because I know they're reissuing them on Tone Poet and Classic Series in such great ways for such good prices that I feel like that the likelihood of something coming out that I'm looking for is feasible. So I feel like I've been looking at other catalogs like Riverside in particular and Prestige. But yeah, I do like how they categorize these. I think it's a smart way to go about their vast catalog.
Did you notice the crossover? There was a crossover between the two series recently too, right? Like the Harold Vick record, I think. The Tone Poet and the exact same lineup. The John Patton on the Classic Series had the exact same lineup.
Oh right, yeah. Well, I think we're in store for one of those this time, and when we get to that record, I'll point it out. But I definitely think there's going to be a crossover smash hit coming up in 2023.
Oh yeah.
So what I was going to say is, for anyone that doesn't know, the Classic Series is all analog, unless noted otherwise, which we'll talk about. They're all cut by Kevin Gray. They're all pressed at Optimal in Germany, and they all cost $25 to $30. So super good value for what you're getting, right? Probably the best value in jazz vinyl.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know what I'm talking about.
I mean, it's essentially their Tone Poets in a cheaper jacket. That's it.
Pretty much. Yeah, I'd agree. I mean, I would give RTI maybe a slight edge. I don't know. I mean, lately, a lot of the RTI records I've got have been kind of problematic. Like seems like their QA is not the greatest lately with warps and other things, but they're still a great plant.
Oh yeah.
All right, let's see what we got here in the 70s.
All right, let's get into it.
So the first one is Grant Green. Green is beautiful, and I've got these wiki pages up for all the records, so we can kind of look through them. So obviously it's Grant Green, 1970.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Got Blue Mitchell on trumpet, which is pretty cool. I'm a huge fan of Blue Mitchell's early stuff on Riverside and Jazzland. I have a couple of those records, and he's sideman on a few of those records on that label, and he is killer. I think Tone Poet is putting out a Blue Mitchell record right now, like pretty recently, right?
Yep.
So that's pretty cool. I think Blue Mitchell and Grant Green are a great combination stylistically.
Yeah. No, it's great. Yeah, it's very funky, very uplifting record. And if you look at the lineup, Idris Muhammad, he's also in the Blue Mitchell records.
Yeah, he's one. I've really gotten into him lately. Actually, I've got a bid in on that auction that we were talking about yesterday on eBay for one of his records. I like him. It's also got Camaro, Candido Camaro on it, which is always fun. So there's gonna be like some Latin funk going on there.
Yeah.
The reviews for this one aren't the greatest. It's only got 3 stars from AllMusic and 2 from the Penguin Guide to Jazz Recordings. So
yeah,
it's 1970. I think it's like a transition where he's doing more R&B. Well, this review kind of talks about it, where he's doing funkier R&B stuff.
Yeah, that was the period everybody was doing that. So
absolutely. Are you going to get this one, Felipe?
Oh yeah.
What about you, Mike?
This one I did sample it. It's not like my preferred style. I probably will sleep on this one.
All right, up next in the 70s, we have this one, which I'm actually more interested in than the Grant Green for sure.
Oh,
yeah.
Bobby Hutcherson, San Francisco. Hard bop, post-bop style. Okay.
I think Bobby Hutcherson, either he was wearing this thing all the time or he used the session photos for like 3 or 4 records with this cap.
Yeah, for sure. You've got 2 or 3 of them with that cap.
Yeah.
Which just seeing that cap excited me because I've been wanting to have that record you have forever.
Yeah,
so.
Me too.
On this one, we got Bobby Hutcherson on vibraphone, marimba, and percussion. That's interesting. Harold Land, Joe Sample, John Williams on bass and Fender bass, and then Mickey Roker on drums. It's a pretty good lineup. I did want to note Fender bass. So the Grant Green has just straight up Fender bass on the whole record. It's electric bass the whole record. So that's interesting. What year was this one? 71. So this is early 70s, both of them. What do y'all think about this one?
It also it says here that the producer is Duke Pearson. Didn't Duke Pearson produce a lot of Blue Note? Maybe after Alfred Lyon stepped down. So
for sure,
he was a big time. He was producer, arranger. Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. And Harold Land is a great tenor sax player.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't realize he was on that until just now. Joe Sample's interesting. You see tons of his records for cheap at the record stores. I don't have any of them, but that'll be interesting to hear him. So the 70s ones look kind of cool. I mean, I don't think they're going to be like the biggest hits of the year or anything, right?
Yeah.
So up next, we got Hard Bop, starting with McLean, Bluesnik. So let's check this one out.
Yeah. One thing I noticed right off the bat in this list, and I think I'm going to mention now, is that how many Music Matters titles they are releasing in this batch. And this is an example.
This is an example? Okay, cool.
Yeah, this is a Music Matters title. It was available too recently. I think I have a second press. It's a great record. It's really, really good. Pila Rocca, Doug Watkins.
Oh, wow,
and Kenny Drew. It's a great record. Freddie Hubbard, the whole gang.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was looking to get that Music Matters Jazz. It is sold out. I'm double checking right now.
Yeah, I think it is. And
well, it sure wouldn't have been $28 either.
Yeah, and a lot
it's available. Oh no, it's out of print. Sorry.
Yeah, and there's a lot of there are a lot of Kenny Drew composition in this record.
Yeah, that's exciting. I didn't realize Freddie Hubbard was on this too. This ought to be a cool one.
It's a beautiful record.
So you're interested in this one, Mike?
For sure. Yeah,
Jackie McLean record.
I'm down with Jackie McLean. I feel like I've totally been converted to Jackie McLean's records. I mean, also just look at his chronology on the screen. So before this is Jackie's Bag, and then after this is Fickle Sonnets. So it's it's a sweet spot for him for sure. He's really got some
yeah.
high marks here. So I think I'll definitely get this one. I was streaming it today in preparation for this video, just to figure out which ones I want, and I think this one I'll definitely be ordering.
I think McLean. Yeah, I mean, I like his free stuff, like Destination Now, Let Freedom Ring is really, really great. But I think a record that's been growing on me is Capuchin Swing. That record is killer.
I haven't heard that one, but I love A Fickle Sonnets. That's one of my favorite.
And Fickle Sonnets as well, yeah.
It didn't make all that last video, but it's up there. I mean, it's top 10 for me in the 80 series for
sure. He has a new jazz record too that has, I think, a red cover, and it's a compilation of a couple sessions. And I was looking, I mean, it's a really expensive record, but there's one on Discogs that I was looking at. So
do you have that?
Probably sold for me mentioning it, but
that Prestige 4, 5, and 6 isn't out yet, right? The one that's one of the one we're still haven't gotten from the analog.
No, I think we have that. No,
do we?
I think we got that. I'm pretty sure.
Which one?
4, 5, and 6.
Do we have that one already?
Yes.
Okay, I can't remember. There's 50 of them. Assuming,
So what's cool about Jackie's bag? He has 2 sessions, side A and B are different.
So let's look at Jackie's bag there, Felipe. You want to show us the record there?
Yeah, it's 2 sessions, so both sides are different.
Okay, Donald Byrd, Clark Terry, Paul Chambers, Philly Joe Jones. Wow, that's killer.
So Bluesnick, I mean, I'm excited for that one for sure.
Yeah, no, Bluesnick is amazing.
Definitely.
Yeah.
The second one in the Hard Bop series here is going to be Horace Parlan, which is super exciting.
Yes.
Oh yeah. He's become my favorite. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is 1960.
Mm-hmm.
The cover's cool.
It's a really good record. It's really good.
Do you have it?
Oh yeah.
Oh, you have the test pressing of it. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So that's metal test pressing. I mean, everything he has is amazing. It's rare to find originals. There is one that came on the Analog Productions 45 series, and everything else is on Music Matters, except for one, which I still don't have.
Yeah. I mean, so we've got Horace Parlan and the Turrentine Brothers. That's pretty cool. I love their stuff in the early 60s. And then George Tucker on bass, Nell Harwood on drums.
Yeah.
Because Horace Parlan had like a trio, right? Like it was him, George Tucker, Nell Harwood, and then they would cycle in like some horn players.
Yes. Yeah. Pretty much. And Parlan plays a sideman for many people as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely stoked about this one too, of course.
This record is one of my favorites by far.
Yeah. I streamed it earlier, and my wife was in the room, and she was even like nodding her head to it. So I'll definitely be getting this.
Nice.
Yeah.
It has a cool vibe for sure.
Yeah, the cover looks like Hub Tones and
it does.
Yeah.
Moving on to the next one. I'm pretty sure the next one is a high point for me.
Absolutely. The next one is Post-bop. So it's definitely a high point for me too, especially this first record we're going to look at because I don't have this and I've been wanting it forever. So we've got Herbie Hancock's Empyrean Isles.
Yeah.
1964. Do you not have this either, Mike, or do you have a copy of this? I can't remember.
I don't, and it's been in my cart multiple times over the years, and I just haven't pulled the trigger for cost purposes and grading purposes. So I'm just super excited that I'll be able to get a minty copy. That is going to sound great.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's Miles's band basically, right?
With Freddie, yes.
With Freddie, yeah. I mean, that's really cool. Herbie, Freddie, Ron Carter, Anthony Williams. The cover's amazing. Yeah. I haven't heard it yet, so I'm going to save it for this. Look at the ratings on this thing.
No, I would say there's not a single person on the planet Earth that hasn't listened to Cantaloupe Island.
That's
fair. That's fair.
Yeah, that's a great one. That's so happy that they selected this title. Yeah, and it's funny because I will go through my Discogs and eBay searches and all this type of stuff, and these records often find themselves into my cart. But I hesitate to pull the trigger because I know that they're reissuing these. And, if I can't get this title, they're reissuing another title and I can kind of wait. And, for the prices, they're so good. But I was really happy that they put some killers in here. And I feel like this one for me is one of the top releases that was announced. So I'm really excited.
What's the year on that one, Chris?
1964.
Yeah.
64. I think it was his second to last, or almost like that for Blue Note. His
The
last
main
one was
voice came out after it.
Well, if you listen to Maiden Voyage and Imperial, I feel like when I was sampling Imperial Isles, like I could hear the Maiden Voyage. Like it's
coming.
not thematic in the same way,
Yeah.
but there are definitely like elements that are similar to both releases.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's sandwiched right between Inventions and Dimensions and Maiden Voyage, so you know it's got to be completely fucking
Yeah.
smoking, man. I mean,
Yeah,
good
that's-
I'm
God.
that's
stoked
really
for
good.
this one.
I'm so excited
Get
for
it,
that.
get it.
Is that the Music Matter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you see for session pictures here, they use the same picture they use for the Tony Williams record.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, okay.
It's on the
Okay.
back. That's on the back cover. Of the
Very
Tony
I
good.
Williams.
love Tony Williams at this time period is like my favorite.
Yeah, he's phenomenal.
Absolutely. So the other record in the Post-bop series in March is Sam Rivers' Fuchsia Swing Song, which I am so freaking excited for too. Y'all both have this record, right?
I don't. I'm still sleeping.
I
on it.
do. I have the Music Matters.
Oh, wow, nice. Well, tell us about it then, Mike.
It's great. I mean, I feel like this Sam Rivers is more approachable than his later stuff. So Contours comes after this. I feel like there's a significant difference in his style from Fuchsia Swing Song to Contours.
Mhm.
And then if you're familiar with the rest of his catalog, he really goes out there.
Yeah.
But Fuchsia Swing Song, I feel like he's still kind of anchored into that like in the pocket bluesy kind of vein of jazz. So I feel like this one, if you're more like shy about free jazz, I feel like this one don't be. I think this is more approachable and enjoyable. So definitely check this one out. It also has Tony Williams on drums, and he sounds incredible on it. Again, this is like prime time for me, like Tony Williams, like best time period. So pretty much love a lot of the stuff that he's on during 64, 65.
Yeah,
So this is a
64,
great one.
You've got Sam Rivers, obviously. Jackie Byard is one of my favorite piano players. Ron Carter,
Mhm.
Tony Williams. You can't beat this. This is going to be amazing. I've
What's
got a
the year?
75th anniversary, so I've heard it before on the Music Street. I'm really excited because the 75th anniversary sounds kind of shitty. So
Yeah. What's the year? This one.
64.
Okay.
64, yeah. Same year
Yeah.
as the last one. So a lot of these are really close together. That's interesting. One of the things
Yeah.
that reminds me of is like, you know, we're watching like Dan Jazz Shepherd's videos, and he talks about how you can listen when you have all these records, right? You can listen to where a label was going. And
Mhm.
the cool thing with the Blue Note Classic Series and Tone Poets is I've got so freaking many of them now, right? And I sort them by release number, right? So when you're looking through a record and you pull one out and then you see like the 4 or 5 that are next to it, you're just like, holy
Mhm.
shit, man!
Right.
They were
Yeah.
fire at this time,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes I'll get those records and I'll play, like I'll get a new record, you know, like Evolution or something. And I'm like surprised by like how early it is in the catalog, honestly. Or like if something sounds more like bopish, like how later it is. So like I have like my own kind of biases of when I think it belongs,
Mhm.
and you put it in and, you know, you kind of learn how
Yeah.
it evolves. And like there's certain styles that, you know, that are a part of that. So that is a really fun piece of it. And that's also when like they break these up by category, like the 70s
Mhm.
bop, post bop. It kind of shows you the expansive catalog of Blue Note as well.
Yeah, and interesting to see Ron and Tony playing in the record. I mean, and Sam Rivers also played momentarily with Miles.
Yeah.
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 I think Tony was he was really into Sam Rivers, but Miles didn't like.
Wow.
Oh, right.
I can see that.
Yeah, it was a transition between George Coleman and trying to get someone. That's when they finally found a Wayne Shorter.
So Tony Williams hated George Coleman, and then Tony Williams loved Sam Rivers, and Miles said, "Fuck that, we're getting somebody else."
Yeah, because that was not what he had in mind, and I think he was right.
No,
Yeah.
for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, so back to what I was saying real quick, Andrew Hill, right? They were so fascinated with Andrew Hill. When you look at his records, they're like all kind of smashed together in my collection. There's this little section where they put out 3 or 4 of them. There's a Jimmy Smith record right in the middle of it. It's like that's how they kept the label going, when they're putting out all this weird Andrew Hill shit. It's amazing, and I love all of it. But you know, like back then, they put out this weird shit, and then hey, here's a Jimmy Smith party record, so we can actually pay to make the next set of records or whatever.
Yeah. And Andrew Hill is kind of interesting. His records, they sold like shit, right?
Yeah.
But he was highly requested as a composer. He wrote the Rump Roller.
Oh wow, okay.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Oh, that's isn't the Rump Roller like a Boogaloo record too? Isn't it like a little different
Kind of,
than
yeah.
what I think of Andrew Hill as? But
Yeah.
that's cool.
Oh yeah, because
No,
they wanted something in that
Lee
direction.
Morgan, like it's Lee Morgan trying to make the Sidewinder again, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So after Sidewinder, he recorded 2 records, Gigolo and Search for the New Land.
Oh,
Wait, did
wow.
Rump Roller come out before Sidewinder? I can't remember.
No, Rumpo came after. So he recorded Sidewinder was a smash hit.
Mm-hmm.
Then he had sessions for Gigolo and for
New Land.
New Land.
Okay.
But then Blue Note said, no, we're shelving those for now. We want a new Sidewinder.
Right.
Okay.
Because they were pressed.
Similar a little bit, right? Like it's
Because they were pressed. The thing is, the distributors were pushing them to send more Sidewinders.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, they were not getting paid for that. So they need to send, start something else to get more money to be able to press more to send to the distributors.
That makes sense.
I mean, because Blue Note was running on a budget.
They weren't Columbia.
Yeah. No.
I think that's the story of Blue Note. It's like, the struggle.
Yeah,
It's fascinating,
it is a struggle, which the music goes along with. I mean, it's really interesting, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So the next one's the first one in the next section is exciting for me for sure.
Oh yeah.
Is to Hidden Gems, right? So the first one is Dizzy Reese, Starbright. I'll listen to this one. I don't think I listened to this whole record today, actually.
It's an amazing record. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's great.
It is fucking great, man. I love this record.
Yep.
It's available at Music Matters if you want to take the dive.
Yeah.
How much is the Music Matters? We don't know.
$125.
Okay, so for
$100 less.
The classic.
Yeah.
And you get 33 too. So if you're into that.
Yeah.
That's true. You get 33 too. So we got Dizzy Reese trumpet, Hank Mobley tenor sax, Wynton Kelly on piano, Paul Chambers on bass, and Art Taylor on drums. How is this a hidden gem? It's got like all the it's got all the Blue Note guys that you think about.
I question myself too. I don't know if the hidden gems are actually so like hidden gems. I don't know. I don't think so.
I think it's the lead. So I think it's Dizzy Reese. I don't know how familiar people are with him.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times this record has been reissued. Like we mentioned, Music Matters did it, but back in like the 60s and 70s, like was it reissued often? I've looked for this record before, and it's not cheap. And yeah, I've looked at the Music Matters jazz one that came up, and that's also pretty expensive. So I haven't pulled the trigger. So this one, when I saw this was part of it, this is probably my second most excited one that was listed. So I'm all in on Dizzy Reese, and I think he's a Jamaican trumpeter. So his background's a little different than some of the other guys for sure.
Yeah,
Sound Off is really good as well.
I haven't heard that one. That Bebop record I got of his is really good. But this was in '59 and it's 4023, so right at the beginning of the 4000 series, still in the 50s. Pretty exciting.
So I think this record, there must be a West 63rd and then New York. There's a Liberty for sure, and probably a 70s. He Blue Notes early wise, I think.
Yeah. He's also still alive. He was born in 31. He's 91. Nice. So he's still going strong. Which is always cool.
That's awesome, man. I'd kill to live to be 91.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So the other one in this section, which is Hidden Gems, is Little Johnny C by Johnny Coles.
And this is another. If you go on Discogs, there's like an MMJ 33 of this you can get for like $100, and I've definitely looked pretty hard at that one. It's a pretty great record.
Yeah.
This sounds amazing. It sounds amazing.
So Felipe, let me make you big real quick, Felipe. I want to look at that.
Yeah, that's the Music Matters 33.
Okay.
He had a Vitaligos. See?
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Joe Henderson.
Very cool.
Bob Cranshaw, Pete LaRocca, and Walter Perkins on drums. That's awesome.
Wow.
It's a good one. Yeah,
it is a good one. I didn't look at the lineup. Leo Wright is actually Idris Muhammad too, same person. So Idris Muhammad's on this one too. Joe Henderson. This is exciting. This one's cool.
Yes, yeah. These two hidden gems are awesome.
They're putting out some fire next year, man.
Yeah, really yeah. I would say the Empyrean Isles, Starbright, and then this one are like definite buys for me.
Yeah, I don't know anything about Johnny Cole's look. Look here, he didn't have that much stuff in his.
No, well, click on his name. Click on his name and look at his discography.
Very, very short discography. He was a sideman for many people.
Yeah, let's see.
Okay, yeah. So you only had the one Blue Note then, and then a crisscross in '82, and that's interesting.
Click on the crisscross one. Let's see who's on that. Because that's a label you've been getting into, Chris.
Yeah, for sure. Horace Parlan.
Yeah, Horace Parlan.
That might be one to check out.
Might be.
Look at the reviews.
Yeah, they look good. That's interesting.
Yeah, cool.
All right, so I think we're moving into Bebop. I think.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So we have Miles Davis Volume 1, I think, to start off with.
So Miles Davis Volume 1. What do we know about this one? This is not the right cover, by the way.
No.
So there was actually 2 Miles Davis Volume 1s, is what this wiki article is telling us. One was a 10-inch, and then one was this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Felipe, correct me if I'm wrong here, but weren't there like 3 Miles sessions at Blue Note, like from 51 to 53 or something? They came out as 10 inches. And then when the 1500 series started out, they compiled them and put them out as 1501 and 1502 and kind of meshed them together.
Yeah, that's how you work. And for those sessions, you see there's like very extensive lineups. Miles at that point, I mean, he always works with this. He likes to pick the right people for the right song. So you see how songs are diverse, also because they're recorded in different dates, times. And yeah, it's a great record. I mean, he was still playing with Parker. He would take time off from the band when they're not touring from Bird and record stuff for Prestige, for Blue Note, for whoever. And that's why I think these records are interesting. To my personal taste, they don't sound amazing. I have an early pressing. I have Japanese presses. They don't sound that great as well. So I'm kind of curious to see what they're going to do with this.
Well, let's see what Kevin Gray can do with the tape. You know, he's going to get whatever he can out of it, I'm sure.
Yeah. Let's see what they can do. And also remember, Miles was not the best top shape, but between 49 and 54. So
there's a diverse cast of players here, right? In the first session, you get Miles, of course, Jackie McLean, Gil Coggins, don't know who he is. Oscar Pettiford's amazing. Kenny Clark's amazing, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Now that March 6, 54, that's actually not going to be on this. That was, so that quartet, if you scroll up really quickly, you'll see that was just included on the CD version,
sense.
which has like a few extra pieces, I think. And if you scroll up to the actual LP release, I don't think there's anything for 54. The 54 sessions were part of Volume 2.
Volume 2, okay.
And that actually is a really cool session, not to focus on a different record, but because it's a quartet and Miles is the only horn on it. So it's just a rhythm section with Miles, no sax, no anything else. And that is actually really cool. So hopefully they'll get to Volume 2 at some point. I'm sure they will.
Of course they will. So they're only Miles Davis titles is Volume 1 and Volume 2. So why wouldn't they, right?
Yeah.
But this one, so it has that 52 session. And then the 53 session has a different lineup here, or somewhat different. So you have Jimmy Heath on tenor, which I love Jimmy Heath. He's like one of my favorites. And then Art Blakey on drums. So very cool. And Percy Heath. So you got two of the Heath brothers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a classic. It's the first one in the 1500 series. I also buy every classic, so I'm going to get it regardless. But I'm with y'all. I don't think the sound is, from what I heard today anyway. On my
I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it.
Yeah.
I just want it. I was streaming it today. It's definitely not Miles' best, but I have to have it.
Yeah. So the next one is the only one that doesn't have a wiki page. This is Fats Navarro, the Fabulous Fats Navarro, Volume 1. Yeah, let's look at this here. So these are from the 40s, right? These are going to be full on bebop then, right? 1947.
Can you zoom in just a little bit? It's hard to see this.
Are they merging 10 inches or just no?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
I think so. It's probably 78 sessions, honestly.
Yeah,
it could be.
And you can see you have some more old school guys. Yeah, Ted Dameron, Mill Jackson, Charlie Rouse, Sonny Rollins. Yeah,
Ernie Henry.
Yeah.
Wow, that's early for Ernie Henry. The only Ernie Henry I'm familiar with is 2 Riverside records.
Howard McGee. Man, Charlie Rouse is Monk's guy, right? He was his
Roy Haynes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
He looked dope, man. They recorded at War
Yeah.
Studios, New York City in
definitely getting this.
49.
What's the catalog number on
It's
this
a
one?
BLP.
Do we have it?
1531.
1531.
Dude,
You know,
every
you-
single every single
yeah.
1500 series that I can get in my collection that I want because they're all
Yeah.
awesome.
By
Yeah.
coincidence, I was checking yesterday. You know which one is 1530?
Hmm.
Utah Hip
By
and Zoot Sims.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
So this is right next to that. That's awesome, man.
Right. Yeah.
That was a great record. So that's Bebop or Bebop, whatever.
What do
Up
we got
next, we have one of the ones that are going to be the least popular. Absolutely, the Rebirth, right?
Mhm.
They're not going to be the least popular to me necessarily, but they're going to be the least
Yeah.
popular probably because they're new.
They're the most. They're probably the most unfamiliar. Those hidden gems are probably more familiar than these.
Yeah. So this is by Robert Glasper. He's got a couple of records that are on the Classic/80 series already. So
Yep.
My Element. He's a pianist. He's freaking awesome. I love the other
He's
records
great.
of his. Personnel, a bunch of people you have never heard of, right? Because
Mhm,
no
mhm.
one knows modern jazz players, unfortunately. But looks like it's got good reviews. I mean,
Mhm.
4 stars, 4 or 5 stars. I've been getting into more modern jazz lately.
Yeah, me too.
I'm excited to see these because I'm gonna buy them just
Mhm.
because of that. And I've got Robert Glasper stuff already. Felipe? Do you have his other records?
I have
Classic
one, Chris. I don't remember which one. I have one, but I like it. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. It's really good. So there's that one, and then the other one is going to be Shades of Blue, which is a Madlib album. So this is
Oh,
probably
yeah.
going to be it's a remix album by American hip hop musician Madlib, right?
Mhm.
His stuff's great. It's definitely the progression for Blue Note, right? It's like
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
where Blue Note would be heading at this time, and it's still jazz. So I'll be getting both of these. I'm excited for this one. I've got another one of his. I can't remember what it's called, but I bought one of his about a month or two ago that I've listened to a couple of times, and it's fucking great, man. I mean, it's hip hop made from jazz tracks and just cool.
I'm definitely getting to those, Chris. I like modern since Yeah.
Good.
Stylistically,
Yeah,
I think these are really different, though. I was sampling
Yeah,
both of
yeah.
them,
Mhm.
and that first one, like the piano, I don't know how best to describe it, but like the piano is very like flowy,
Mhm.
and beautiful sounding.
Right.
And then the Mad Libs ones definitely feels like it's got like a solid like drum machine behind it, hip hop feel. So they're very different. And I am getting into more modern stuff, so these I'll definitely be looking at as well.
Mhm.
Yeah, the subtitle for Shades of Blue is Madlib Invades Blue Note, which that sounds badass.
Okay.
That's cool. Oh yeah, that is. Yeah.
All right. Well, we're getting down towards the end of the list. That we only got the first,
Okay.
3 quarters. I
Oh
mean,
god, these
hopefully-
next two I think are pretty good too.
Yeah, these next two are great. So the next section is soul jazz, starting off with a record that Felipe knows well, I'm pretty sure.
Mhm.
Heavy
Oh, yeah.
Soul by Quebec, 1961. What can you tell us about this one, Felipe? You have this, right?
That's amazing. I mean, any Quebec, don't think about it. Just get it. It's gonna be good.
I agree.
Look how
And
badass
this
it is on the cover.
So this
Yeah.
one and the next one he did. So you can see his chronology. It says it might as well be spring as the next one. They have the
Yeah.
same lineup. It even looks like they released them different years. It looks like it's out of order there, but
Yeah.
this one is more like I think it's not straight ahead, but it's more straight ahead. And as
Mhm.
might as well be spring, I think is more ballady and kind of laid back.
Yeah.
I also feel like all Quebec stuff is laid back. All his lead stuff is kind of laid back.
Ike is interesting. I'm not sure what the cause was, or if there's actually that was the case. But he was a very early artist for Blue Note. He was on the very first batch of records from the very start, session musician. I think he might have 10 inches as well. And then he had had a comeback in the 50s, right? His records are not too far apart, and everything ends with heavy soul, samba soul.
Yeah. And I think that was that 62 or is that too late?
62, yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
think
he
that was
doesn't
his last.
have too many. He has like 4 12-inch records, I think.
Mhm.
Or 4 or 5.
Easy Living, Blue and Sentimental, Heavy Soul, Samba Soul, and my 5, yes.
I think when I first heard Quebec, he sounded so different because he's like when I was like listening to Might As Well Be Spring, like I was like, do I need to listen to this on 45? Because that first track he comes in so slow. I mean, I've never heard any sax player sound like that.
Mm-hmm.
And he just has like a really chill, slow vibe to him that is really different.
Right.
I don't know if people would consider him like an innovator, but I haven't heard anybody like him. But also, I guess the closest person would be Coleman. Thank you. Yeah.
They have
Yeah,
kind of this share style.
But even
I mean,
Quebec, I feel like is even more slow and more like he's even more breathy.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it's worth looking at his discography just because
It is.
his first record was in 1945 with Blue Note.
And I'm really glad they reissued this. It's not an easy find, and I have a first or second press. It sounds amazing, but there's some pops and tickles here and there. I think I want to upgrade my copy, or at least get a more like listenable one.
Yeah, I was actually looking at his stuff that's available on Discogs just a couple days ago, and I was messaging it all to Felipe, and his stuff's expensive. It's hard to get his stuff.
I mean, he also worked at Blue Note for a long time.
Yeah.
Like as a kind of A&R guy.
Yeah, he really helped. Yeah, he really helped like build the label. He really helped.
For sure.
He's a
100%.
fundamental guy. I think people talk a lot about other people like Reed and well, of course they were the owners, but some musicians they really, if it weren't for those early musicians, they wouldn't have made it.
One more thing in his discography, and we move on, right? So this is the other stuff he put on as a sideman, right? So 1944, that's crazy. But then he played with Sonny Clark, Leaping and Lopin', Grant Green, two of his great records. I don't know who Dodo Green is, but then Jimmy Smith, Open House, that's a great record. So he didn't do a lot of playing, but he worked. Like I said, he was kind of an A&R guy with Blue Note for forever. So really interesting. I don't think I have any of his records, and this was my first one, so I'm pretty excited for that for sure.
Yeah, I lucked out and I found a soul song. Found a soul samba for a ridiculously good price, so I picked that up. And then I was trying to just find. I have an LT series of like Quebec, and it's a compilation of all jukebox like 7-inch 45s.
Oh, really?
Because he apparently like recorded for like jukeboxes for like up in Harlem. So like those came out not as part of like a record. So they released that as an LT series, and that one's cool too. I mean, all his stuff is pretty awesome. I have to say.
Yeah, that's
even his
a great
sideman work. Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
that's a great one. And just as a curiosity, if you're going to play this record, although it's called Bossa, just 2 songs here from Brazil, Bossa Nova, the last 2 on side B.
Yeah,
very cool.
This is beautiful. The cover is amazing.
But yeah, so I think we're all excited about this one.
Obviously, yeah, I think so. Okay, so the other one in this segment, which is Soul Jazz, right? So this is a Lonnie Smith record, which I'm excited about. Not as excited as I am for the other one, but yeah, Turning Point by Lonnie Smith. It's 1969.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just look at the lineup here is pretty crazy. You got Lonnie Smith, obviously, Lee Morgan on trumpet, Benny Maupin on sax, Julian Priester Mike on trombone, then Melvin Sparks on guitar, and Idris Muhammad on drums. That's a pretty fat lineup, and it's going to be funky as hell, I'm sure.
What's the year there?
69.
69, yeah. So
it's right after Think, and you've got Think. That's on the 80 series, I believe, right?
Yeah.
That's a cool record. So
it's like embryonic for what Miles was doing, and Herbie done a little later.
Mm-hmm. We'll see how good this one is. I mean, the Club Mozambique is probably my favorite. The live one is probably my favorite record of his anyway, but I'm pretty excited for this one too. What do you think, Mike? Are you interested in this one at all?
I mean, Julian Priester's on it, so I got to give it a hard look. But it's definitely funky. I gave it a sample today, and it's like like real funk. Like, so we'll see. I'll definitely give it a hard look for sure. I mean, I didn't look at the lineup,
right,
and I didn't listen to the whole record, so I got to do that.
That's fair. Yeah. All right. Well, the last section that we have published so far, anyway, for 2023 is Avant-garde. Starting with a record that both of you already have, which I want to hear y'all's thoughts on, is Spring by Tony Williams, right? Or Anthony Williams at the time, I guess.
Somebody said that, I can't remember who it was, but somebody said that because he was so young, they built him as Anthony Williams because they thought it made him sound like a little more mature, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I have
They put
United
his name as Anthony Williams. You're right, Mike.
Yeah, so I have a United Artist pressing. It's RVG stamped. It sounds incredible. It's super clean. Yeah, got it for a pretty good price. So I won't be getting this because I'm happy with this one.
Yeah, me too.
And yeah, I mean, it's avant-garde, so you know you got to be prepared for that. And I think he has 2 records, Spring and Lifetime, on Blue Note around this time. It might be his only 2 Blue Note led sessions. And I think this one, if I remember correctly, this one is a little bit more out there than Lifetime, a little bit more challenging to my ears. So it is certainly a challenge, and I think the next one we're going to be talking about that as well. But yeah, it is avant-garde, so you know, let's take a look at this lineup.
Yeah, so it's a good
Pretty
one.
Exceptional.
Well, I mean, it's Anthony Williams, of course, Wayne Shorter, Sam Rivers on tenor, sax, and flute, which is awesome.
You see, he likes Sam Rivers. He was a big fan of Sam Rivers. See?
Sam Rivers is great, and then Gary Peacock on bass. So yeah,
it's a great one. Tony sounds awesome on it.
Mm-hmm.
But this is definitely one that, you know, if you want, if the party's winding down, you want people to leave, throw this on.
Yeah.
Because this, you know, it's a difficult one. You know, it's not. You're definitely not going to bop your head to it.
Unless you're hanging out with us, then you know.
Well, no. Unless you're hanging out with people who know, then yeah. But I'm, you know.
Curiosity on this one for the ones that are collecting and want to find a first press. There are 2 first pressings: the stereo and the mono.
Yeah.
Okay.
The mono has plastilite on both sides, and the stereo plastilite only on one side.
Huh.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Weird.
So if you find a stereo 2 plastilite, it's a Scorpio.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh right. Yeah. Interesting. Now the other thing is that our Jazz Bums Intel is saying that the Lifetime is going to be released next year as well. So since it's not a part of the Classic Series, and I think one thing we didn't mention, but the Classic Series list only goes up to August.
Mm-hmm.
So there will be more for 2023. So Lifetime could be a part of that later batch, but also might get the Tone Poet treatment. So definitely keeping an eye out to see what they're doing with Lifetime. And I think Joe Harley is going to be releasing the Tone Poet list for 2023 on the 15th.
Yeah, we'll definitely be having another video for that too, because that's super exciting as well.
Surprising, this was not a Tone Poet because there was no Music Matters Tony Williams.
Well, okay. So to go back to, remember we were saying that I forget which record it was, but there was a Classic Series that came out, and then the Tone Poet complemented it.
Yes.
So I think what they might be doing is when this comes out, there might be a Tone Poet Lifetime that comes out at a similar time, and to really play up Tony Williams Blue Note years, which would be awesome.
You know what this shows? I mean, I've got to have 120 Blue Note records now, right? And 90% of them are Classic Series and Tone Poets in the 80s.
I know.
And there's so many records that are just fucking great, and all of it, right? Like, I know Blue Note is not all of jazz, but geez, man, you look at these other catalogs and they just get smoked.
I know.
Like you're digging through Riverside, and you're like, there's like 10 more records I want.
Now,
if you go through the Blue Note discography, it's gonna be like, okay, I want a lot of these, right? Like,
I was just gonna say, like, in fairness, like the contemporaries and Pacific jazzes, when I look at them, I'm just like, I'm cherry picking the ones that I like, and there's a lot that I'm just not interested in. Not in having my collection, right? Like I'm fine with just streaming them or whatever. Sure. But back during when they came out in like the late 50s and 60s, those were probably like, you know, more desirable records. It's just like standing the test of time. It's amazing how well the Blue Note catalog is still just loved so much. Because those contemporary records sound awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, we got one more record to talk about.
Oh God, brace yourselves.
Record. I'm stoked for this one, man. I've been listening to more crazy stuff thanks to all of our friends on the live streams on Friday. It's forced me to buy new stuff, but
okay.
So we got what we got here. Cecil Taylor, Unit Structures. What do we know about this record? I have no clue about this record.
This is a challenging record.
Yeah.
This is really challenging.
Okay.
I think it's cool, but it's, you know, it's gonna requires some work to get through it for sure, in my opinion.
Yeah.
For my ear.
Jimmy Lyons.
It's cool.
On that record? That's wild.
Like this one, I don't even know if I'm gonna get this one, even though I think the cover's awesome. I like Cecil Taylor. I have some of his early stuff on Transition.
Yeah.
But this, this is a tough one. I don't know how much I'll actually play this one. It's really tough.
Well, you're just making me excited now. So it's got bass, clarinet, and oboe on it, so you know it's gonna be cool.
But it's Cecil Taylor, like really, goes out.
Yeah.
Like he really like pushes in ways that other musicians I struggle to even think of anyone else who gets like that. Some of Sam Rivers stuff gets like that.
Yeah.
But it truly is. Like I was sampling it again. I think it's cool. I might get it. I probably will get it, but I'm not 100% because I don't want to just get something I'm not going to listen to that much.
Yeah.
So I don't know about this one. It's really tough. Yeah. It's a tough one.
Have you heard it, Felipe?
Oh, I will go, Chris. Oh, yeah, I tried it. Yeah, and again, I'm gonna do like Mike said. I'm gonna try it. Think about it a little better. I don't want to commit another Don't Cherry in my life.
No, I think it's definitely better than that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. It's some of the crap I've been listening to lately. I'm thinking about giving that Don Cherry another spin just to see. We got some wild.
Oh yeah.
In the pack lately.
Yeah, I'll be more receptive, I think, too. Not I want to say receptive. I'm getting more, some more, advanced. I would
it's
say
wild.
advanced.
I mean, it's advanced. It's different, right?
Yeah,
it sounds different, which is interesting when you have, 500 or 1,000 jazz records.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them can sound the same, even if they're all amazing. And then you hear something that's totally different. It's going to stick out to you sometimes.
I was just going to say, I'm just reading some of the critical reception on the wiki page, and I think like this term is perfect for it from what I was listening to. It's like high energy. Yeah. Like it's nonstop, but not, I don't feel like it's as like harsh as like the Where's Brooklyn. Mm-hmm. I definitely think it's more, I don't know, more enjoyable for me than that. But yeah, I don't know. I've kind of shied away. Like he has Conquistador, and then there's also he has a record on, I think it's contemporary. But I just been shying away from his stuff because it really is kind of it's just a hard listen. So
I'm just asking, do you think if Nicole and Stunty would recommend this record to people?
I think so, yeah.
I'll have to ask them on the next time they're on the stream, but yeah.
I think what would be interesting about this is where Cecil Taylor at this point in 1966 is taking music. Mm-hmm. And I think when you kind of listen to it at that context and listen to it how different it is than other stuff that I have, that's where I think my interest would be. I think like this one, if you're just starting out on jazz, there's always exceptions, but I think this would be a hard one to kind of be able to just be like diving into. I think
don't do it.
The references and just having it as this is something different in my collection.
So what do you guys think about this Classic Series lineup for 2023?
I think it's probably the best one so far.
Oh, wow.
It's pretty good. I wouldn't say, I think the best one maybe was the first because they had like the Wayne Shorter Speak No Evil and the Art Blakey Moanin', all those things, but this is really strong. There's a lot in here that I'm really happy that they selected. There's always stuff that I wish that they included, but this is really strong.
Yeah,
I think so too.
No, I think you got a point, Mike. But those titles, you can go anywhere. You can find that one in a store.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
but those titles are harder.
So, what do you guys have? Like, what are your like? I can tell you right now, my top 4.
Okay.
Do you guys have any like?
I can probably figure that out. What are your top 4?
Yeah. Okay, so my top 4 are going to be the Empyrean Isles, the 2 hidden gems, so the Starbright and Little Johnny C, and then I Quebec Heavy Soul, and then also the hard bop, like the Jackie McLean Bluesnick and Horace Parlan Speak My Piece. And then I'm excited about that Fats Navarro one. Like that could be like pretty awesome. It's an early Blue Note. Like if I didn't have Anthony Williams Spring, I'd be all over that. It's pretty good.
I think so too. I'm gonna buy all of them probably, but as I have so far. I mean, I got all the Classic Series, all the 80 series. Like, why would I not? I'm pretty excited about it. I think it's going to be a really good year. If this is looking this good, let's imagine what the Tone Poet list could be. I mean, Jesus.
Yeah.
Like I think a few that were leaked were the Andrew Hill, the LT series one. I forget what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys remember that one?
Yeah. I don't
Yes.
remember
Yeah.
what it's called.
I think he showed the tape, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So I think there's that. I think he's going to do the Lifetime Tony Williams.
Mhm.
And then if we look back at his Instagram, I think there's probably a couple other hints. And then they've been teasing the transition titles.
Yeah.
But those might be like for a future. I wasn't totally confident that they're going to come out at like this next batch. It seemed like those might be for later.
Yeah.
Well, he's got planned. I think they got planned like the year after that already. I mean, like they have got a list, a long list, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Oh, and the other one is the Pacific Jazz. Also, he showed the tapes for the Carmel Jones Pacific Jazz.
Okay, cool.
So that'll probably be on the list as well. So I'm really excited to see what he has.
Lastly, I think when coming to Tone Poets as a break here from Classic, in January we're having two great titles coming: the Donald Byrd live and Scholar Hoffel. I think a lot of people are going to sleep on this one because it's no. Man, it's Miles Band plus, it's an amazing record. I think people should not sleep on this one. Should not, stop buying Hank Mobley forever. Just get something else. Open your mind and go for it because this is going to be an amazing record. Al Foster was Miles' favorite drummer. Scofield, Joe Lovano, which we just got another classic release of Joe Lovano.
Did you like that one? Did you buy that one, that Joe Lovano?
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I liked it. Yeah,
me too.
I didn't have much time to listen to it because it's already boxed.
Right.
But yeah, I really dig that record. I think it's really really good, and this a great example. Tone Poet, don't sleep on this one.
Yeah, I agree.
Stop waiting for Chad Baker sings. Get this one.
You can get both when it comes back out. You can buy it too.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. We will have a live stream Friday night, I believe, which is going to be tomorrow. Hopefully, if I can get this video uploaded by tomorrow. If not, it will be a week from. It'll be a week after that. But thanks for joining us, everyone.
Remember, let us know what you think about these releases. Which ones are you excited about? And remember to like and subscribe, hit the notification bell, and we'll see you guys next time.
See you next time. Thank you.
Thank you.